Hey, it's Chris and Brian again from Resolve Technology. And Chris is going to talk to us today about generating passwords and testing your passwords to make sure that they're strong enough and they make sense for you. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, a lot of people always try, a lot of people reuse passwords or use a short password, may not have special characters or, case sensitivity and end up, being involved in some sort of breach. So to, mitigate some of those risks, you should, try not to reuse passwords, try to make them somewhat strong. Um, and generally, use something like a password manager where you have some long but secure phrase that you use to sign in there. But then for all your accounts and portals, you just use a really strong password that you're never going to remember because it's going to be stored in the password manager anyway. So as an example, I'm just going to use Bitwarden here. They have a password strength testing tool. So,
So we'll try to include this URL in the below the video. This is anybody can get to this through Bitwarden. You don't have to have an account with Bitwarden. Bitwarden, we mentioned in another video, Bitwarden is our go-to for password management for clients. Go ahead, Chris.
all right. So say you wanted the password Brian 2023. I'm sure some people use a name, something simple like that, or even an exclamation in there. It gives you an estimated time to crack of 17 minutes and the strength's weak. However, if you're using a password manager and you're less inclined to actually remember it, you just want it to be strong, say 21 characters with numbers, all that good stuff. We'll just copy what Bitwarden generated here. And it's saying this is a strong password and estimated time to crack is century. So
yeah, Chris, I'll give you a real world example of that Brian 2023 password.
yeah.
My wife, I noticed I couldn't get into the banking account. I was locked out. She had to reset the password. And I said, well, what's the password? And it was not that far off from something like that. Brian 2023 probably take about 20 minutes to crack.
Yeah.
And I said, that those are our bank accounts. So we need to, make the password stronger. So I went in there and changed it anyway. But that's the sort of thing that happens. And she's pretty, security conscious,
Yep.
I guess, but we all forget that these portals and apps and things, they can be accessed from anywhere on the internet. So
Right.
that's why it's important. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah. No. And we see people too where they don't really think about it. They have the same password for their personal email, their business email, their banking, and if someone gets into one of those, they almost have the keys to the castle. So that's something to be aware of too.
Definitely.
You can also here's another tool, Have I Been Pwned? And you can see, you can type your email address in and see if it's been in some kind, any of the services, like we use Brian's email here as an example that had some sort of data breach. And you can see, oh no, you've been pwned in 17 data breaches, but found no paste. And it lists them here, Dropbox, LinkedIn, Twitter. And didn't you say, you commonly you typically check this and change your password if you see some new service in there?
Yeah, I mean, I there's a few different signals I get from, that tells me there's been a breach. I'd say most, if not all of them, I've reset the passwords. So it really has nothing to do with you as a person. It has to do with the fact that their database was breached, their servers were breached, and they're advising you to change the password. So as soon as I see something like that somebody's been breached and I'm using the service,
Yeah.
then the first thing I do is change it and make sure it's a strong password and all that. Doesn't mean that they're going to get in just because, they've been pwned, just because they've gained access to the server. But the recommendation from all these companies, if you end up in the search engine on this list, is just play it safe. Just go ahead and change your password, right? Make it a strong password. Go ahead, Chris.
And I mean, I showcased, using Bitwarden as a password generator. There are other tools available to generate passwords for you if you want something that doesn't contain, some personal information that someone else may know about you. Like if you drive a red Acura and your password's red Acura, you know, that's generally not going to be something you'll want to use. But there's also DinoPass. I mean, we don't really use this much, but you know, this is just, it's called the password generator for kids, but it gives you passwords. And I don't know, some of the, when we have ever used this, I noticed some of them are a little bizarre and, you know, strange. It generates some weird names there, but you can choose simple or strong. And like, for example, the strong one has a $sign instead of an app, which might be, you know, a little easier to remember for someone.
But generally, yeah, we don't recommend these for portals, you know, like webmail portals and other portals on the internet. Maybe for internal passwords for like your workstations and things like that. It might be strong enough depending on your IT environment and if you're in the, under any sort of compliance or anything like that. So you'd have to check with your IT department. But you know, the whole idea here that Chris is trying to convey is, okay, there's tools out there, use them, make sure you don't use the same password across all these different accounts, have unique passwords, make sure they're strong passwords. If you need to use a testing tool, there are multiple testing tools online, and you can see how long it's going to take to crack them. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave us with, Chris, or should we wrap it up?
I mean, we could mention you always want to, you know, if it's available, you'd want to set up MFA as another, you know, security measure to follow.
Yes, we recommend MFA whenever multi-factor authentication, whenever you can set it up on a portal or any accounts, do it. It's a simple extra, you know, simple step. It only takes a couple seconds. Just do it. And that way you have a strong password and MFA. They have been known to crack MFA. Some hackers can crack, you know, there's different methods and we won't get into that. But if you also have a strong password with the MFA, you're good to go. All right, Chris, thanks for your help and we'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.